their apology, they can shove their apology up their ass. Hemi Panarin definitely looked like he got his mojo back. He got an assist. I was wrong. Big. And welcome back to another episode of Big Apple Hockey's The Final Buzzer. I'm your host, John Folkowski. You know me as Filk. And with me, I've got from Rangers Central, Matt. What's going on, Matt?
What's going on, guys? What's going on, Filk? Yeah, 6-1 win. It's kind of a new feeling, especially what's kind of happened over the last couple of months with this team, especially with the horrible end of last year. But yeah, I mean, look, not a lot to really complain from this game. Like you said, I mean, you beat the Pittsburgh Penguins 6-1, which, look, you're supposed to beat the Penguins 6-1, right? I mean, they're a bottom feeding team. They're a team that's going to be competing for the lottery this year. They're going to be a team that's going to be for Gavin McKenna. So if the Rangers, want to show that they are a good team and that they have improved since last year, these are one of the teams that you have to beat up upon. And look, am I ready to get on the what's it called, the hype train and start pumping the tires? No, not exactly, because I still need to see a lot more. Most notably, I would like to see them compete and beat better teams. But obviously, it's early in the season right now, and you're given who you are, so you have to beat us in front of you. So I mean, obviously, like we said, they lost to the Penguins on opening night. They came back, beat the Sabres last game 4-0, and they beat the Penguins 6-1. And now they're gonna tomorrow. They're gonna have a tough test against the Capitals, even though the Capitals are not exactly the greatest team in the league, but they are a step above what the Pittsburgh Penguins are. So we'll see what happens tomorrow, and we'll see if this momentum can carry over to tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, the comments are in the chat. Yeah, Dario, I actually highlighted the first time you said that before. Just highlighted that when we came on. But yeah, it's good because they played, I would say, a good 40 to 45 minutes of hockey, which, I mean, you're going to have to do if you want to win games in this league. I mean, like in the Buffalo game, they played a good first period, and like going into the second, they started off all right, but the majority of that second period was not good. And then the third period was up and down until I would say maybe the last like 5 to 10 minutes of the game where they really started locking things down and they pulled away from Buffalo. So this is really good to see, 2 games in a row where they've had the majority of the play or, be good to great. I mean, today they shut down Pittsburgh after that first period. Pittsburgh had I think at the start of the third, I remember because I watched the Pittsburgh telecast because I was watching on streams and stuff. And they said that they had 3 shots since the end of the first period. And that's crazy to think about. I mean, because this is a Rangers team that has not been good at limiting shots on Igor Shesterkin. And, the one goal he let up, you shouldn't have really let that up. But, you give that a pass with how good he's been playing so far this season. So, 2 goals in 3 games, you can't complain about that. He's been good. He's been great, actually. The Rangers get off to a strong start with that shorthanded goal. Great play with, Carrick and Zibanejad. And then, they look like they're decent in the second period. And that's when just everything just changed in that game. And I was like, all right. I was like, they're really starting to lock this down. I mean, I saw a quote from Adam Fox saying that, they had, actually, let's see if I could bring this up. I think it was Molly Walker's tweet. So let me see if I can get that. But it was basically Adam Fox saying that, there was some motivation to, yeah, let's see. Can I share this? Copy link. I don't know how I do it in here. Share screen. Share. Okay. Okay, there it is. Yep. All right. So, yeah. So just to expand this, Molly Walker is saying that Adam Fox said that there was added motivation to get Mike Sullivan that first win over the Penguins, especially after the season opening loss. For sure, we let him down that first game. Obviously, it's been emotional for him to be back at a place he's been for so long, had so much success. We didn't give him the best start, but I thought we responded really well, and we're happy to get the win for him. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more with. Hold on. I'm trying to get us back here. Sorry. There we go. So yeah, I mean they look really good, and Adam Fox, he had himself a game. He had himself a game of games. He was tremendous. So I'm actually going to pull up the analytics from it because he looked really good tonight, and he was right at the top of the chart. I can't say that I try to put too much stock into these, but with a performance like that, I mean, it's fitting. It's fitting. So let's see, share.
No, yeah, 100%. I mean, listen, for Fox, because I mean, listen, we all heard the criticisms of last year and the fact that he had to improve on his offseason regimen. And look, compared to what we expect of Adam Fox, he did not have a great year last year. And look, the fact that he's looked a lot better this early on the season, and like I said before, and the point still stands, they are playing against less competition, absolutely, but you also do expect a guy like Fox, and this kind of stands for pretty much every other superstar you hold to a high standard around the league. You expect these high superstars or these highly rated superstars to come out and look like their best selves when they're playing against these lower competition teams. So listen, it's good that Fox is looking a lot better and looking to the standard of what we saw of him when he won his Norris Trophy back in 2021 and his season in 22 and 23. I mean, like the thing we brought up on the last show that we did, he's shooting the puck a lot more, and that stands with the 2 goals that he got today. His puck moving ability looks a lot better compared to last year, and I still would like to see maybe a bit improvement on the skating, but
yeah,
in my opinion, it does look a bit better than what we saw last year. So listen, you got to give credit to Adam Fox. We expect a lot out of him. He's making a lot of money. He's wearing a letter on this team, and like I said, good job to him. Hopefully, though, he just keeps it up, and this carries over from game to game.
Yeah, I mean, I think he played great. Gavrikov looked pretty good. Even Will Borgen actually had a pretty good game. I got to give him credit. He was pretty good. He made quite a few defensive plays on guys like Malkin and Crosby, which I was really impressed with. Taylor Radish. I mean, I know we've all bashed this signing, but he had himself a game. Like, even aside from the goal, like I even tweeted out well before the goal, that Evan's fighting with people. Oh man, but yeah, just he was all over the place. His skating looked way better than it looked in the first. He looked really slow the first 2 games, like something like it looked like he had a rocket shot out of his ass tonight. Laba's got 2 points. He played great. I mean, he got the primary assist on Radish's goal. JT Miller looked a little faster tonight. I mean, he looks like he's finally starting to get his legs. Like, there was a sequence in the third where he was down low in the far side corner with the puck, and Carlson was on, and he was spinning around, and he took Carlson with him for a ride, and Carlson stayed with him obviously because he's a tremendous skater, but like he definitely looked like his legs were starting to come back a bit. Mika Zibanejad looked better tonight. He looked way better tonight. They're just Panarin at times looked a little better. I would like to see him be a little more aggressive and just and again attack the middle. But when he wants to take over a game, he can take over a game, and he still hasn't really shown that yet. But it's there. I mean, he's got 2 assists in 3 games, so I mean, not really what you want from Panarin at this point. You want to see him being a point per game. this isn't the Islanders stream. I'll talk to Anthony about doing the Islanders post games. We want to do more stuff like that, but I usually just do the Ranger post game streams. But Anthony's really our Islanders guy, so I've got to talk to him about that. And then once we have some more news and more updates about that, we can do that. But it's harder with Anthony because he's got a family that he's with, and he's got a wife and kids that he spends a lot of time with on the weekends. So, I apologize, but that's really Anthony's thing. So hopefully we'll get more of those in the future and start doing that regularly. But I can't really make any promises right now for that, because schedules are tough. We try to do what we can and get what we can out of it, all three of us. So, but back to the Rangers. It's really, I don't want to say Panarin was invisible. I'm still not where I want him to be, though. Not where we want him to be. So, yeah, Evan's on his way. Okay. Yeah, I figured as much.
Yeah, I mean, listen. The thing with Panarin for me is like, we all know he's talented. I mean, the guy put up 120 points last year. Well, not last year, but the season prior. It's just for me. It's kind of like what Kaylee said to a certain point. Like, I don't think he was as bad as what he was in the first two games. But again, for me, it's just I expect a guy like Panarin to be a lot more engaged than what he has been so far in these first three games. And it's just, to me, I don't. Maybe it's a thing of him just getting older and age, but he just doesn't look very engaged to me, and that's the thing. And like this is something that we talked about on the last post game show we did. For a guy that's being paid $11.6 million, and for a guy who's wearing a letter, and for a guy that you're putting a lot of pressure on him, but he also has a lot of responsibility in his own end to be one of the main carrying forces of this offense. And for me, it's like you said, Phil, cool. He has 2 assists in 3 games, but again, you expect a lot more from Artemi Panarin, especially if the rumors like we're hearing that he's demanding double-digit figures on his next contract. Well,
yeah.
Sorry, Panarin, if you want that type of money, and like I said before, and I stated this before, and I'm not moving off my position here. I'm not giving him the money regardless. But I'm just saying, for me, if he wants to get that money, he has to show a lot better than what he's been over these first 3 games.
Yeah, and we're going to bring Evan in here. We'll talk about that. Evan came over from his own stream from Ranger Central. So, yeah, I like Lonnie's comment. by God, that's Evan's music. It's Jim Ross. Jim Ross in the chat, everybody. But yeah, it's you got. I think he'll get going, like once he starts to get his legs under him. And I'm not even like, me, I'm not the eternal optimist type. And there are definitely times where I've been overly critical of him and his just a refusal to really play any type of physical hockey. Like not that he has to throw his weight around, but just engage and, fight for pucks and so on. But he didn't play during the preseason. So he's probably still a bit behind. Like Miller looked better this game. And then, I will say that if that's the case, then, Panarin, maybe he's just a little behind too. But you know what? I do think that with time, he'll probably get a little better. It looks like Panarin being on Zibanejad's line has really kind of energized Zibanejad. I mean, I know that you don't want to put Trocheck and Miller on the same line because they're 2 centers, but could that be something good for Zibanejad going forward? Having Panarin on his line? I mean, he's always played well better with a good playmaker on his line. like he was great with Zuccarello. When Zuccarello was there, that's when he played some of his very best hockey. So maybe, maybe that's the case. I don't know, but Evan, I know that you had a fun little stream of yours going on there. What was going on over there?
Yeah, I apologize for keeping you guys waiting.
No apology necessary.
Yeah, usually I wrap things up. Obviously, yeah, just talking about how this team played a good 40 minutes. The first 20 wasn't great, and just really my overall takeaway is I'm happy that they actually played a good 40 minutes of hockey. I'm happy they outplayed Pittsburgh for most of this game, but at the end of the day, they got to build on it or it doesn't matter. Like, I want to see it against good teams. That's really what it comes down to, because if you don't play the right way against good teams, like we've talked about, you're not going to win a lot. And it's really just that simple. And then I got into a couple of friendly arguments, if you will, in the chat.
I'm actually with DP on this. I thought that fourth line played really good. That fourth line really wore them down. Like, and that's what you gotta have. With a fourth line, you gotta have a line that goes out there, and even if they're not putting up points and scoring goals, like, just be effective and keep the opposition in their own zone and just wear them down and just keep hitting everything. And that's what they did. And Adam Edstrom should have like 2 or 3 goals this season. Like, he's played really, really good. Like, he's driving that line. So
that's the point I was going to bring up. Edstrom looked very good today. He looked energized and he looked like he came ready to play. And this was kind of one of the reasons why. Not that last year it would have made a difference a whole lot if Edstrom was in the lineup, but I mean, we obviously know that Edstrom missed a large amount of time last year. Like I said, I don't think it would have affected the season a lot if he didn't get injured, but they definitely did miss him down the stretch of last year, and even like towards the end of 23-24. Like, I know Matt Rempe got a lot of the attention because he was fighting and got a ton of 5-minute majors and was throwing his body around. But Adam Edstrom, people forget too that for the short time that he came up in 23-24, he also had a positive impact on that team in terms of giving them good bottom six depth, giving them aggressiveness, giving them that speed in the bottom six. And this was also one of the reasons why, because he played very well. I believe it was the 23-24 preseason. And I legitimately thought that he had a good chance of making the roster that year. And he didn't. But, now that he's come up, and obviously, like I said, he missed some time last year. But hopefully now, if he can get a full year under his belt, hopefully, Edstrom, for his sake, can establish himself as as a regular bottom six piece for this New York Rangers team. And I mean, like we were saying, for the second goal that they scored, he did a really good job of carrying the puck up the ice. Took that, he took a shot on that, but he tried to pass over to Rempe, ended up picking it back up, got it over to Fox, and Fox obviously took that shot to put the Rangers up 2-1. And then on the fifth goal that they scored, obviously Rempe was in the middle, was in front of the net, kind of falls in. Shilov, and then you have just Edstrom right there in the garbage zone, just picking up loose pucks and putting the puck right in the net. So good on Edstrom. He's looked strong for me so far this year, and like I said, hopefully for his sake, he keeps on he continues it, because if he can establish himself as a nice little bottom six piece for this team going forward, then that's good, because obviously we see with a lot of these good teams, especially with the teams towards the top of the league, because one of the things we always say about those teams is they develop their own good bottom six talent. And that's something that the Rangers, especially over the last decade, they've really struggled on that. That's why we've seen them go out there in free agency especially and overpay for some of these bottom six guys like Barclay Goodrow. So, if they can really establish themselves and, develop and draft these, bottom six guys themselves, that's only going to help this team going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I like Carrick. Carrick's been good for them. I see the chat about Barron and the comments about Barron in the chat. But I don't think there's. Listen, they made the trade for Cobb. I get they gave up what they gave up, and Barron was a part of that. But I'm not gonna cry over that. I mean, yeah, would Barron be good to have? Sure, but You'd probably have to pay him a little more than you'd have to pay Carrick, though, because you're going to have to pay him because he's a homegrown guy, and you want to keep a guy like that around, you're going to have to pay for like some potential. So you might have to pay him a little more. But I mean, is he a better player than Carrick? Yeah, offensively, yeah. I mean, Carrick gives you a lot of the other things, but I can't say that I am going to complain about Sam Carrick. Like, I'm not even talking about his Linsanity run last year where he went crazy for those 2 weeks or whatever it was. But, he's been a dependable soldier for them. So
yeah, my thing, honestly, with Carrick is I would just prefer, if we're talking about a team that is winning a Stanley Cup, I prefer for him to be more of the 13th forward than being the everyday 4C. Because, I mean, Edmonton brought him in as like a 13th forward type when they got him that 1 year at the deadline.
No, I get it. I get it. Kaylee's also right about this. Like, sometimes he just takes some.
That's my biggest problem with him. If there's anything like that, if he wasn't taking a stupid amount of penalties or just dumb penalties in general, then I'd feel a lot better about having him in the lineup regularly. But, there's also the argument that in the playoffs, when they put the whistles away, and he gets away with that stuff, then, it's okay to have him in the lineup.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. I mean, Lonnie's right, though. I mean, you got to temper expectations against a team like Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh looked good in their first 2 games, though. I mean, they looked good against the Rangers, and then they beat the Islanders. And, and then the Rangers really turned the tables on them tonight. Maybe those first 2 games were a mirage. Maybe these second 2 games from the Rangers are a mirage. Who knows? Like, I just think it's early. Nobody's really established themselves yet. I don't have a ton of confidence in this Ranger team. I'm not going to lie with the roster. But if Sullivan can get them to play like this on a nightly basis, they're going to be in games at the very least, if not win them, especially if Igor is going to continue to be this good. Like, he's been really, really good. Not worth $11.5 million, but he's been very good. Like, I mean, the goal tonight was not a good one, but I mean, 2 goals in 3 games. And he was under siege at points in that Penguins game in game 1. And then from, I would say, the start of the second period to maybe midway through the third against Buffalo, he was under siege for a good, 30 minutes there. I would say, for a good, 30 minutes, just under siege.
The other thing I do want to see, though, is how he handles that against better teams as well. Like, as much as we're talking about just the team in general against better teams, he's another one where I want to see how he does when he, faces a Connor McDavid on Tuesday, when he faces talents like Austin Matthews going forward. Because right now, I mean, yes. Crosby's Crosby, but, that Penguins team does not have a lot of good talent. And I was saying in my live stream, the other thing they need to do is they need to stay out of the damn box more, because you do that against Edmonton, that power play is going to feast.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. You got to do it against the good teams too, and no one will argue any of that. I like Chris's comment here. I don't know if Mario Ferraro's the answer per se, but I wonder if that's somebody that they would target with Susie. Really, because who's the next call? Robertson? I don't think they're going to call it Morrow.
No, they'd have to put Trocheck or Susie on LTIR to call Morrow up in general. Either that or they'd have to send someone down, and then that would have to be a waiver process. So it's going to be Robertson, unless, like I said, one of them's going on LTIR.
Yeah, I mean, Trocheck, they say, is week to week. So I don't know if I know that they want to accumulate, because you don't accumulate deadline cap space by putting players on LTIR. That's the big thing. But it's for me, it's a matter of what player is going to come up at that point, and it looks like it's Robertson. it looks like that might be the case. So we'll see what happens. But Drury's had to get creative with the roster before. We'll see what happens with that. Yeah, I know Robertson. People don't have faith in. I mean, all right, he didn't look bad in the preseason, so I gotta give him that. He looked better this preseason than I've seen him in any of the other previous preseasons. So I know it's preseason, so it's not saying a whole lot, but if I have to go off of something, I mean, I could say at least that looked good. I can't say that I watch him like every day in Hartford, so
I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't love his preseason entirely. I thought he looked like all right at best. Like there was a lot of bad reads from him throughout the preseason that like this was my problem though with on Drury that the depth that he acquired, it's just like non-existent right now for when this happens with injuries.
yeah.
If only we had Calvin DeHaan. Oh my goodness.
Calvin DeHaan, please.
Yeah, no. Well,
Calvin DeHaan did one good thing last year, and it had nothing to do with him being on the ice.
And then he walked it back.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but I was gonna say the only thing, and this is kind of going back a little bit to the whole
I know who this
trusting
is
this
now.
team. And again, one of the whole reasons why I don't trust this team going forward, and I mean the obvious reasons are one, roster construction, and the fact that we don't trust Chris Drury. But the second part is, again, we've seen, and this is going back to last year, we've seen this team have so-called easy starts at the start of the year. Like we all remember last year, this team started 12-4-1. They were beating teams like Pittsburgh. They were beating teams like, Detroit early on and stuff, Montreal even too. And then we saw them once they started to get to the hard part of the schedule. That's when this team really took that dip. And I get also that the team also quit on the fans and they quit on the city. But it's just it's cool that you're beating these bad teams. And listen, like I said before at the start of the stream, you can only beat what's in front of you. But I want to see how this team actually looks like against the better teams, and then two, the faster teams as well, because we've seen how slow this team is, and when their transition game is not sharp, they could be heavily out. They could be heavily exposed due to the lack of speed.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, you talked about like Edmonton and in Toronto and some of the other teams that can really push the pace. So like tomorrow is not a great skating team in Washington. So their next game after that is Tuesday, and that's Edmonton. They're not on Wednesday, so they will be on Thursday, and that's Toronto. And then I think they're on Saturday. Yep, Saturday in Montreal, and that's a good skating team. So that's going to be probably a tougher game because we all know that teams that can skate can give them fits. They're not on Monday the 20th. They are on Tuesday the 21st. No, they're not. Wow. Okay, that is weird. They're not on again until. Why do they have like 4 days off? What is going on with this wacky schedule? They have like 4 days off, and then they play Saturday the 18th, and then they're not on again until Thursday the 23rd. Like it's just stupid.
The
Why?
NHL is off to a really rough start with the scheduling. Like, I don't understand how there's one game tomorrow too after like every team plays tonight.
Yeah, I mean, only 2 teams are having back-to-backs. Like, come on. Like, it's just ridiculous. Oh,
And then no games yesterday was such a missed opportunity. I mean, that baseball game though was really good to watch, but like that was the only thing they were competing with last night.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, I don't. That guy needs help. But yeah, so. The scheduling, and I just they've been bad with this for years. I don't understand how they continue to do this. How they continue to do it. Wait, hold on. they're not playing the 20th. I don't. Oh no, they are playing the 20th. Never mind. I'm sorry. I missed that. That's my fault. They are playing the 20th. I missed that on the scores. So no, they have 2 days off. It's Tuesday and Wednesday. They play the 20th against the Wild, and then the 23rd. Thank you for correcting me on that, Cow Tipper. Yeah. So, with the fact that we don't play the Devils until March is ridiculous. Yes. Yeah. So if only Justin Braun was still here. Times like this, we need Rafael Diaz. Oh man, yeah. The funny names coming out of the woodwork. Want to go real far back and ask for someone like Peter Smarek or Richard Lintner, Joel Bouchard. That would be real funny. No, I missed the Minnesota one. I was looking through it, and I guess I was looking through fast, and I missed that game. So, but it's all right. I mean, Steve Eminger, yeah, it's another one. But maybe it's computer. Maybe I don't. Maybe you're right, Todd. Who knows? It's just weird. Pear Juice is a really, really good one. Yeah, when it's funny enough, his last season in New York was the first season I started watching in 91, 92. That was, oh man. He had the funniest name ever. I used to laugh at that name so much when I was a kid. But yeah, some Jeff Toms and Sylvain Lefebvre and Dave Karpa and Peter Popovich, Stefan Quintal, some real bad names from the Dark Ages era. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens in these next few games because they're gonna have to be a hell of a lot better, than they were against Buffalo, against Edmonton and Toronto. They're not getting away with that, even if I think Toronto is not as good as they have been previously. Norman Rochefort. Oh man, Rochefort was actually good. He was actually on Canada Cup '87 roster. He was on the Canadian winning team that won that tournament. He was actually a good defensive defenseman. But someone not liking Dave Maloney. Ooh.
I gotta be honest with you. I have not been much of a fan early on either. Like it's just a lot, and I know we got on Sam for it obviously at the end, and we laughed about it like when he was butchering names. But Dave Maloney butchering names too, like, oh my goodness, it's just way too much.
Yeah, I get it. I don't. It's tough because I think 99% of us probably have that like connection to like Sam and Joe, and it's really tough to have like the next one come in, the next crew, and feel the same way about them. It sucks. I don't envy Kenny and Dave this season at all. And I watched Sam and Joe for 20 years again. I've watched Sam for 30, 34 years, 35 years. So it's rough, He's part of the soundtrack to my life. When they lost JD and they brought in Joe, you should have seen the discourse back then on like the forums, on like HF boards, hockey trade rumors, all the forums online. It's going from JD to Joe was, and it was also considered like sacrilege just because, JD was a through and through Rangers guy. And not only that, but Joe was an Islander guy. You replaced one of the most lovable personalities in Rangers history with an Islanders guy. I mean, Joe became loved by the fans over the years, but I tell you right now, it took a bit. I'm not going to lie, it took a bit.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my thing with Dave Maloney is, to me, like the slam dunk pick was Brian Boyle. Like he was right there. Someone that's like fresh out of the game, fresh in the broadcasting that you could really develop into the great color guy for years to come. Like to me, that was just a right in your face hire. Even Callahan, since ESPN let him go, like I thought one of those two, or even having them rotating, would have been the move.
Yeah.
I also think for me, listen, I like Kenny, and he was always going to get the job, but I don't know. For me, they should have went with Bob Decision for the next for him being the next Rangers full time announcer.
I agree.
I love the way how he announces games. Like he brings like next level energy whenever he does ESPN games, especially
Yeah.
during the playoffs. But I mean, listen, I like I said, I like Kenny. It's just I don't know. Bob just he's better.
For me, Kenny is just like more of a like the way that I described it in the group chat that I'm in with like Matt Carson, all of them is I like him more for national games because like I don't know, he's good to have every once in a while. To me, it's just like having him in this heavy dose where I feel like it might be a little boring with Kenny. And I agree with Chris also. Rupp would have been a good option as well. I would have liked a lot like I don't know, to me there were a lot of better options out there to replace Joe. And I do agree with Bub also when he said Joe's never watched the same game I was watching. That is 1000% accurate.
Yeah, there were times where Joe would say things, and I would definitely disagree with him. I mean, listen, Joe was good at what he did, and especially when he was younger, like he was really good on the national broadcasts as well. So I'll give him that. Yeah, and Kenny was always the pick. Like nobody's debating that. It's just that some of us would have liked other guys other than Kenny Albert, and that's everybody's opinion. Like I like Kenny. Um, I do love Bob Wischusen though. I love Wischusen's energy. I mean Kenny shows his energy, but he's a little more contained than Wischusen is. And you know what? It comes down to preference. It comes down to preference. Yeah, Espo was before my time, Rich. Espo was before my time. So
Also, if we're gonna be fair, and this is more ESPN talk, but they should just make Bob Decision the number one guy on ESPN. Like, no offense to Sean McDonough,
yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
but Bob needs to be the number one guy on ESPN. I just, like I said, it's nothing against Sean McDonough. It's just he's not my cup of coffee per se.
Yeah, it's everybody has their different guys. Like I love Randy Hahn in San Jose.
Yeah, I like him too.
I think he's incredible. John Kelly in St. Louis.
John Forsland in Seattle. Like
John Forsland, yeah, Carolina and Seattle. He's great. I like what's his name? Edwards in Edmonton.
Edward.
Yeah.
Edwards in Edmonton. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the Edmonton one. No, Jack Edwards in Boston was. He was a rough
I
watch.
forgot the name of the guy that called the Trocheck winner, the Sportsnet version of it though. That call I remember being good. I don't know if I've heard a full game. I think he does Jets games mostly. I'm blanking on his name though.
Yeah.
Good too.
No, not the TSN guy, right?
No, the Sportsnet guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the TSN guy was Dennis Biak. Dennis Biak's pretty good. For the Jets, that is. He's usually the Jets guy on TSN. But yeah, I'm with you on Brendan Burke. I think Brendan Burke's incredible. And the national, like even as the Islanders guy, he's great. But I love when he does national games on like TNT and stuff like that. He's really good doing the national broadcasts. The Islanders got a real good one on their hands there. So.
Someone asked about Donald Greco before. I don't know. It's too early to tell.
I like him on the radio. I don't know how he's going to work with TV though.
Yeah, in the preseason, that one game, it was a little weird.
You know what? I watched that game, but I didn't have the audio because I was at a friend's house. That was the Sunday game against the Devils, right? The first one.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. That game. I was watching football at a friend's house, and I didn't have the volume on the hockey TV. We had
I don't watch a lot of Devils games, but Oh my god! Like, is it just me, or does it sound like Ken Danico's like on the verge of sneezing every time he's talking? Like,
Ken has a specific way of
it,
speaking, if you will.
it just sounds that way. Yeah, and Jack Hughes, he's gonna be big for this Devils team if he stays healthy.
Chris Collinsworth.
I mean, now here's a guy in Igor Shesterkin that really, might be one of the best in the game. Sort of how we talk about Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he just can't do any wrong.
Get this guy out of here.
Oh,
Yeah,
my God.
no, this guy is unhinged. Like, get some help, dude. Get some help. I've banned him several times for being disrespectful to the other people in the chat. He's just get some help. Go out. Go get a beer or something, man. Like, but it's the Chris Collinsworth stuff is hilarious though, because I let's see. Here's a guy named Connor McDavid, and he really knows how to skate. You can tell that he knows how to do his mohawks, and I wonder if he has a celebrity girlfriend too.
I mean, he definitely has heard a lot from Patrick Mahomes. I mean, just look at this Picasso art here when he was saying that the Giants game. Oh my God, the glazing during that Giants game. When he lost 15 yards and he just I mean, I can't tell you how good of a play that was. It's like, dude, he lost 15 yards on the play.
Collinsworth will never stop with that. He will never stop with that. And he was the worst for years with Dallas. Like when Dallas would play the Giants, he would constantly glaze Dallas. I couldn't friggin' stand anytime he was on with a Dallas game.
Like Giants Dallas, yeah. And I just don't get the obsession too with the size of players. Like he always has to be I mean, he's just got these big hands. I just
yeah.
I'll never forget. This was I think I don't even remember what. I think Khalil Mack was on the Bears, and he's like, I mean, I gotta tell you, if I had a body like that, I don't think I'd even own a shirt. It's like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, we were talking about that before we got on, Rich. Matt asked me if I heard the single yet. I hadn't. I gotta check that out. I mean, I remember when the previous album came out, and We'll Be Back was the first single.
I remember that also, Anthony.
Oh God, yeah. He just says some things that are just, yeah. Please just stop.
I mean, just watch him find the hole right here and then just explode. It's just he'll say shit like that. Oh my God.
Just thick from the waist down. I mean, Jesus. Does the guy not think before he says stuff that this may sound a little weird?
This wasn't even sus, but even during the Bills game the other day, when Allen threw the check down to James Cook, and he's just I mean, this has Josh Allen's hands all over it. Dude, he threw a check down and Cook took it 60 yards.
Yeah, I mean, he just says some things that are just weird.
He's a weird guy.
Am I going to go to Russian MFG next year? I'm going to try to. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to at those prices, so I'll try to see if I could get comments or tickets rather, closer to the day of the concert and stuff. But I've heard some of the ticket prices for it. Nope. Waiting for Iron Maiden to come back too, because I think they're going to come back next year as well.
Yeah, they're going to come back.
The new drummer is apparently very good. She was Jeff Beck's drummer for a while. Annika Wills. She's really, really good. So she was also recommended to Rush by Geddy Lee's bass technician. So she's pretty damn good. I mean, I would have loved to have seen maybe someone like Eloy Casagrande from Slipknot. Could have been real good. Danny Carey from Tool would have been like my number one pick to replace Neil. Like, if you want to talk about the best technical rock drummer alive, it's probably Danny Carey. For my money, at least.
1,300 each on 2 tickets.
1,300 is absurd. Absurd. I'm not spending that much on Rush tickets. No way. Good. I hope anybody who spends that much money has the time of their life and they have the money to do it, but just
You know, it's sad though that $1,300 probably couldn't even get you into the Garden for a Stanley Cup final game.
no, it wouldn't.
Sad part.
Slayer.
And I would pay $1,300 for that, or a World Series game. But
Stanley Cup Finals is different. Like, I know Rush coming back is weird, but you know what? Without Neil, it's not the same to me. It's just not. Like, that's part of the appeal to go see Rush is Neil, and or was Neil rather, and just how fucking amazing he was. You know. So I can't really say that I would want to spend $1,300. No, and you know that's fine, to each their own, Brandon. I just, for me personally, I couldn't justify it that way. Like, I wasn't even a year old when Cliff Burton died, so it's like it's different for me. You know, if Neil is resurrected, yes. And ideally, yeah, Mike Portnoy would have been really good. I just think Danny Carey might have been a better fit. No. But, I mean, yeah, I can't do it either. I can't. I don't know how you feel about Emily, Matt. I'm torn. It's if they would have changed her name and they weren't Lincoln Park anymore, like I would say, hey, you know what? That's pretty cool, but like you're under the name Lincoln Park, like, no.
I don't know. For me, I really like their new album, and I do like her voice a lot. Emily Armstrong, she has a very good voice. Listen, I get it's different, and that's always the thing about a band, right? Like, you could change guitar, you could change bass, you change drums, but once the voice goes, I mean, you can't match that. And I get it. Chester he had his own amazing voice. But I mean, I know, Phil, you stated before that you would have rather them change the name and be under, a different name, and you would have kind of liked that a bit better. But for me, I don't mind it personally. It's just, but I guess it's your own opinion.
I saw Pantera 2 years ago at MetLife with Metallica, and
yeah, they were good.
They were really good. Like, Charlie Benante is. Let's just say Vinnie Paul was excellent, but Charlie Benante was incredible on drums for that. Incredible. I disagree there. I like William Duvall, but he does not sound like Layne at all. I don't hear it at all. And it's tough for me. The only band I think that has done like even like can give you the same type of sound and everything because it's actually his offspring, but Sublime with Jacob Noel is just amazing because Jacob sounds so much like his father, has a great voice, and he can get that gruff that Rome Ramirez just could not get, like when they wanted to do their like more punk based tracks. So yeah, that Jacob Noel was just an amazing fit. Otherwise, you're right. Once the voice goes, it's not the same.
The only way it works is if you do it early enough, like with Iron Maiden, like when Paul Di'Anno left off after 2 albums, after Maiden and then Killers. So you were early enough in the process to change it. And then, I mean, once Bruce Dickinson came out, it's just
Bruce Dickinson's just a better singer, though.
Yeah,
that was just the perfect fit. Like, I don't know of many people that consider Di'Anno Maiden like the true Maiden form. Like, everybody I know thinks, like, don't get me wrong, Phantom of the Opera, Killers, Prowler, self-titled track. Like, they're all some of my favorite songs from them. But Wrathchild, another great one. Running Free, I love. But like,
Yeah.
great songs, but they're still better with Dickinson. It's like Number of the Beast is like I think hands down their best work. So thought Killers was decent, but nowhere close to Number of the Beast. Yeah, I mean, this is really it. It's like Dickinson is made, and we've got so off the rails though with music talk. I'm sorry, guys. I saw that one comment. I was like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, there really isn't much to talk about this game though. We're gonna be honest. I mean, first period wasn't great, and then just pretty much after. Well, pretty much after Pittsburgh tied it, the Rangers just took off from there and just they didn't look back. So I don't know. There's not much to talk about if we're gonna be honest.
Nah, I disagree with this. Totally disagree with this. Number of the Beast is a better top to bottom album. Chappelle Rowan. You know what? I didn't even know who that person was until like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I had no idea who they were. I kept seeing this name. I was like, who the fuck is Chappelle Rowan? Thought somebody was talking about Dave Chappelle.
The one that made the song that Frank the Tank hates, Pink Pony Club.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that song. I've never heard it.
Oh, consider yourself lucky.
No, I don't. I really don't listen to like the radio or any like Big Apple, Music Central. Yeah, Dio. Dio's voice is iconic.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
Dio.
Maybe we can get Natchez. I don't see. Here's the thing. I don't think he's a. I mean, listen, good scorer. Consistency issues. And, I'm not a big fan. Like people get on Panarin for playing that way. Like you're gonna have him come in and he's gonna do the same thing. He's just a faster skater.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like I've been going back and forth with people on Twitter about that. That why are we getting another guy that does not show up in the playoffs? Like, and the only thing I got in the replies is, well, he skates good. All right, Julian Gauthier skated good, and that didn't mean shit. Like, I'm sorry, and I'm not saying Natchez is Julian Gauthier level before anyone takes that to an extent, but like, I don't know. To me, it's the fact that I just think he fit Carolina's system better, and that's why you saw him thrive there in the regular season, and then come playoff time, he disappeared. And playing with Nathan McKinnon in Colorado, I think, is just simply what's helping him. I don't think here he's going to put up good production. I'm sorry, I just don't.
Yeah, that's why for me it's like I like Natchez. I think he's a decent player, but again, this is a Rangers team that's desperately looking for this number one forward. I mean, when we were comparing, especially looking at before a bunch of guys came off the upcoming offseason in terms of free agents, when we were looking at guys like McDavid, Eichel, Kyle Connor, Kaprizov, these were all number one guys that you could rely on for out and out production every single game. And these were guys that you could pretty much count on to take the scruff of the neck of every single game. Again, I don't think Natchez is a bad player, but I'm sorry, it's just he doesn't scream to me as this number one leadership type of guy. And again, like we've been getting on Panarin for years for him not being able to do this and take the initiative of this number one guy. So again, Panarin is better than Natchez for me. So I don't see the fit. And again, like I said, it's just it'd be underwhelming to go from talking about all these bigger names like McDavid and Eichel to end up landing on a guy like Natchez. Like, listen, if it does happen, cool. I'll hope for all the best out of Natchez. I don't see him as this number one guy though.
Yeah, the other thing is that I talked about, and I continue to say it, is that the Miller trade was a first in a line of moves that they were going to make to change the culture there. I don't think Natchez fits in with that. I don't think he fits in with the way they want to play. The one thing that I'll say about Natchez is that his speed could fit with Sullivan's system. I don't think he plays the way that Sullivan wants to play otherwise, though. I don't.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, having a faster forward that is, can make plays, it would be interesting. But I don't see him as like that top end forward. I see him as a good second liner. And you're right. They need to bring in a guy that's like, they need to bring in somebody that's better than JT Miller and better than Panarin. And I know those guys don't become available. You kind of have to draft them. But if you can't draft them, you got to go acquire somebody like that. So I don't see Natchez as that guy. I just don't.
No.
That's just me.
Yeah, no, I don't see the appeal. I really just don't.
But again, this but then again, this also comes back to the point of, and again, we've seen the Rangers when these top guys become available, especially through trade, because we always say it's very rare that these guys hit the market, and then the other way to get them is through developing them and drafting them. And we know that the Rangers aren't great at drafting and developing either, especially top end talents and top prospects. So especially when these top guys become available via the trade market, and we've seen them in the past couple of years, they whiffed on Eichel, they whiffed on Tkachuk, even though I didn't think they had the package to match Florida in terms of getting Matthew Tkachuk, but still, they pretty much weren't, at least from the rumors, we didn't hear that they were interested in him. And then the other big one being, when Jay Gensel became available at the 24 trade deadline, they didn't go out and get him either. So there's chances, and especially if it were to happen, and I don't think it's going to happen, especially since Ottawa's kind of taken that next step forward in terms of being pretty much proven, well, not proven playoff team, but they look a lot more like a playoff team than they had over the past 5-6 years. So I don't see them trading Brady Tkachuk now, unless Brady Tkachuk actually says to them, "Listen, I'm not signing here long term, so if you want to get something from me, trade me." But other than that, they had their chances with the last three guys I talked about, and they didn't get them, and they're paying for that right now. And then even for them, because again, like we brought it up before with JT Miller, right? The time to get JT Miller was at the 2022 trade deadline, because maybe if you had him for that run, maybe you do beat Tampa. If they had him in 2024, maybe they have a better shot of beating a team like Florida. But they waited up until last year because they didn't want to move guys like Braden Schneider, who and now looking at it 3 years later, Braden Schneider is nothing more than a third pair guy. So it's all about making the right moves at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, there's a world right now where they could have potentially both JT Miller and Jack Eichel if they weren't stubborn with moving their younger players. So imagine a world where they had both of those guys as their 1-2 centers down the middle. But instead they didn't want to. And I just don't get the appeal with Natchez either, when you have guys like Jason Robertson who might become available, when you have guys like Logan Cooley who might become available. Why trade for Natchez when, I don't know, you guys could tell me if you disagree. I mean, with Robertson, I don't think you could disagree, but Cooley, maybe there's more of a discussion. But I'd rather have Logan Cooley personally than Marty Natchez.
Yeah, I would too, but I think Logan Cooley he's not going to be available unless they refute. Unless then again, if Utah doesn't want to pay him, do you think the Rangers are going to want to pay him that contract?
I thought it was something about him not wanting to be in Utah. I could be wrong with that, but that's what I thought that was about. But if he wants out, then to me, that's the guy I'd rather get.
Yeah, I would rather go after him too. I think he's going to be a tremendous player. I think he's going to be like a point per game guy or better. I would send Lafreniere and maybe even multiple first round picks over for him, and get him here. If that's what it takes to get it done, sign me up.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They get a young forward back that has some potential. I mean, maybe it's a little squandered. I don't know. But, I mean, if anything, you got to take the chance on that if that becomes available, because you're not – unless you're going to tank for McKenna, you're not getting that guy. Like, and I don't, and this team's just not going to tank. Like, we want them to, but they're not going to tank. And then, they're not going to be good enough to win a cup unless they make several moves. So let's just say you take Lafreniere, one or two of those first round picks, and then, I don't know, maybe another prospect, maybe a Berard, maybe, I don't know. I don't know what it would take to get him. I really don't. But you can get Logan Cooley here. It's a different looking franchise.
Yeah, to me, it's just like that. I'd rather. It's tough to say because of the fact that you can never bank on stars becoming available because it doesn't always happen. But it's like, to me, there's this part of me that would just rather wait than trade or even give Marty Necas that kind of deal. Like, Buffalo's a team that could be on the verge of blowing things up. Like, I'm sorry, but if all of a sudden guys like Tage Thompson or Owen Power want out of that team, then
Yeah.
those are the guys I'm moving mountains for.
Yeah, but you know what? Kevin Adams and the Pagulas, they don't want to deal with the Rangers for whatever reason. Maybe Drury pissed them off years ago with the Eichel folk. Maybe the demand for the medical records was a problem and they didn't want to give it. Tuck's not all right. I like Alex Tuck, but you bring him in as like a last piece. Like if you need some size and some physicality and scoring as a last piece, okay. But he's not a game changer. He's not a difference maker by himself. So
he's I mean, like you said, like if you expect Alex Tuck to be like your number one guy, then yeah, you're not like a cup contender. But if you're bringing in Alex Tuck to be like that final piece of like the top six, then yeah, I mean, because Alex Tuck is a game changer in the sense of he rounds out your depth, especially in the top six, which is, I mean, we all expect Buffalo to be bad, right? So, and Tuck is going to get moved at the deadline. So, I mean, and I expect a team like I mean, Florida makes a lot of sense to target a guy like Alex Tuck. I even think Toronto, because I know, Phil, like you said, you're not too high on Toronto. I actually do like Toronto's team, and I feel like they're one top six piece away. And I think if they could get a guy like Alex Tuck and slide him, next to a guy like Austin Matthews and Nylander, I think that could. Toronto
he does make a really good fit there. You're right about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. No, we actually had a shot at Eichel. That's not even remotely true. Buffalo wanted Kravtsov, Lundqvist, Hedel, and a first round pick, and the Rangers refused to give that up for Eichel. That was the report that went around from multiple sources. So yeah, they had a shot at Eichel. Everybody was reporting that they were in talks for Eichel. We all thought they were going to get him.
Yeah.
So
that hurts.
But I'm going to do probably 5 more minutes and not a Mark Williams 5 minutes. So no song or anything like that. But get the questions in. I got to get up for hockey early in the morning, so I gotta end this early tonight. But yeah, good question. Game now. I don't know. I don't know why they're in that Winter Classic. They played in the conference finals not last year, but the year before. So I don't know what the NHL was thinking with that.
I don't know. The only thing I could imagine, because I'm shocked that they didn't just do Florida Tampa for the Winter Classic, but I guess they figure let's just get 2 separate games out of it, because they're doing the Winter Classics for the Panthers, and then they have a stadium series in Florida. My only thing I could guess is they figure there's a lot of older people from New York that live down in Florida, so they figure, hey, we're gonna fucking draw a large crowd there anyway of New York fans, so you might as well.
Yeah, that's gotta be it. It's the New Yorkers, so Rangers are a big market, but yeah, the team's not that good. Yeah, Lonnie says he lives down there and the tickets are insane. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, we'll go to 11:40. I just realized it was 11:32 when I said this. We'll go to 11:40 and just ended on an even number. But yeah,
Is it going to be their third Winter Classic, DELE?
yeah, third, 12, 18, and now this.
But definitely a lot of outdoor games because they've had 3 Stadium Series games now, 24 and then 2 in 2014.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I went to the Devils one. That one was interesting.
Yeah, me too. And up until now, I mean, unless you're not going to count the one that they played in Las Vegas in the 90s, but in terms of actual regular season outdoor games, they're undefeated, and that's probably going to change this year. They're probably going to lose their
Yeah.
undefeated status outdoors.
Yeah, I don't see them beating Florida. I don't.
No, Mike, we didn't get the Winter Classic sweaters yet.
No,
That's probably going to be like a December thing when we get those.
Yeah.
Which I'm interested to see what they're going to do because the Centennial jerseys are something that I would have thought they would have done maybe for that, unless they do a white version of the Centennials for it. I don't know.
You know
They
what?
should-
Honestly, a white version of the Centennials could look good as long as that collar is red.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think that they got to go with like the brown gloves and pants for that game too.
That I don't like. I don't like that look. I don't. The Red Wings, it looked right with them because it was just a darker shade of like red and brown, which was pretty like it looked cool. Otherwise, the brown leather gloves, I just doesn't do it for me. I get
Yeah,
why
they could
people
do it.
do it, but I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
like it.
or they could do it with like the shield, like Chris is saying. Because I mean, for me, that 2012 Winter Classic jersey, that's the best looking Ranger jersey in my opinion that they ever created.
I like it. I had one. I like it, but not my favorite. Nice though. Very nice. Not my favorite. I mean, my favorite's the Liberty, the blue Liberty and the white Liberty. Of like I
The
just
White
I
Liberty is
love
my
those two.
favorite.
White Liberty's so fresh.
Yeah.
So good.
I also really like those Liberties more, but I do like the second reverse retros a lot too.
Yeah, those are nice.
Yeah, I have that one. I have. I like that one. I just wish they would have went back to the full Liberty. Just go back to it.
Unless they're doing that for the Winter Classic, which would be nice.
I don't think that's an issue because they wouldn't have been able to put out that reverse retro then, or either reverse retros. if that was the
Yeah,
case.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one. I think it's just because of I don't even know why. I mean, they should have done that for the third jersey. These third jerseys, they got to go back to the drawing board. The third jerseys are not great.
Yeah, I really don't. Yeah, I really don't like that one. It's not terrible. It's not my favorite. The
Well,
stripes
that-
are weird.
That if we're talking third jersey, you go back and you make a new Liberty one. Like I would love like you said, Phil. I would love if they would bring back a white Liberty jersey as the third jersey, or you just bring back the heritage jerseys.
Yes.
The navy blue with the New York. Those were really nice too.
Yeah, I mean, you could do like an updated version of those.
Maybe they do a white version of that for the Winter Classic. That could be good.
Yeah, I mean, here, let me see if I can pull this up. I'm trying to find it. Hold on.
And Anthony, I agree with that because I do have the third jersey that I like the detail designing on that, but I also just don't like when I'm sitting down in my seat at a game, I just hate having the giant freaking Shield logo when I'm sitting down at a game. It just feels weird. I don't know. I can't explain it. Maybe you get it, but that's just how I feel. It just feels weird.
Oh, this is it. Okay, hold on. Let me share. No.
To me, I think that one of the best jerseys they've made recently is still the Stadium Series. I'm such a fan of the Stadium
Yeah, I
Series
like that
jerseys from
one.
that.
I thought it was all right. Actually, what I would love to see this is actually this one here. I would love to see a jersey with this.
Yeah,
Like do something newer with that logo.
yeah, I agree with that.
Maybe get rid of like the top part over here, how it's like higher than the other part, and make it like even, but like do an updated version of like this. This one is sick.
I kind of like though the part at the top.
You
I
like
don't know.
that?
I kind of like
Okay.
it, yeah, because I don't know. I feel like it's just too similar to the regular shield. Then if you lower it,
Okay, fair. I could get on board with that.
I feel like this is what should have been on the front of the third jersey instead.
Oh, absolutely. You know, if you're not going to bring, so what they could do, what they should do, is do this in a blue and a white as a third and fourth. Even if you're not going to bring back the Liberty, do this. You know, you have history with it. They used this. They used this shield in the 70s. You know, and yeah, and then you could use the Liberty logo on the shoulders. I like that idea.
I agree.
You know, actually, let me I don't expand that. All right, so I'm gonna wrap this up though. Thank you all for joining. Appreciate it. You know, good night for a Rangers win there, 6-1. Rangers look good against the team they should beat. Usually, we're having these streams and we're talking about them not being able to have the performances that they need to have against these types of teams. Now they have one of them, and there's not a whole lot to talk about because you know there's nothing to really complain about. I mean, Carson Soucy, we'll get an update on him sooner than later. I'd imagine tomorrow we'll probably have more news on him, and then we'll probably see who's coming up for him tomorrow as well. So look out for the Molly Walker and Vince Mercogliano, Colin Stevenson tweets. Peter Bautu from the Athletic. So you know, show all the beats and love. And then, you know, maybe depending on what happens, let's see, they are on next. Let's see here. There's nothing Monday. Oh, no, there's tomorrow. Oh, yeah, duh. What am I saying? Yeah, tomorrow. So maybe if I'm not watching football at a friend's house tomorrow night, watching the it's probably going to be quick, B-Rye. But if we're you're welcome, by the way, Kaylee. Appreciate you. Audio slave until tomorrow, boys. Okay. Yeah, Soucy hurt himself. He looked all right. I'm not going to say he looked great or anything, but he looked better than the usual level of play that he was at. But I think everybody did. So I'm trying to temper my expectations for that. But yeah, I think tomorrow night, if I'm not watching the night game at a friend's house, or maybe even if I am, maybe I'll do like a later stream if you guys are down. So I know Evan, you try to do them like right afterwards, right?
Yeah. So that works. Do that, and then we could do a later night here.
Yeah, maybe we can do that then. So if you guys are going to be around tomorrow night, maybe we'll try to do a elite stream tomorrow night for post game. So, but again, thank you all for watching. Appreciate it. See you next time on Big Apple Hockey. Any of you guys last words?
Good win. Let's see if it carries over tomorrow.
Anything for you, Ev?
I second that.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.